Hello guys, how are we doing and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be showing you the lines of sight and jump spots I use to get Iridescent and specifically on protocol. We're going to be covering things that will benefit you on SND, control and hardpoint. The previous video I did of this sort had really good reception, so I've decided to make it a bit of a series. That one was on Skyline, so if you feel like you want to watch that and you want to learn a little bit more of how to traverse the map and what angles you can use to benefit you on Skyline, feel free to check that out down below. Today on Protocol, obviously, there's going to be a lot of useful things, and hopefully the things I show you in the video today is going to be really easy things you can mimic, copy, and just instantly level up your gameplay next time you find yourself on Protocol. So we're going to start in this little area here. It's pretty useless for the most part. People tend to jump up here to challenge P1, and I would always recommend whenever you spawn back here trying to challenge P1, instead of just running around this area and just jumping on the barrels or trying to get a line of sight, is you come to here, try this head glitch first. At most, slide over to here and use this head glitch. But yeah, you can't just run around here expecting to get an easy challenge here. Maybe crouch a little bit, maybe behind these barrels, but using this head glitch or this head glitch down here, it's far better. An even better way to challenge it, if you can somehow manage your way over to this little turret, is by crouching once you're on here. If you want to expose a little bit more of yourself and see more, you can stand, but this is a real nice head glitch here, using this wall as the main bit of cover to try and target anyone on P1. You can jump on here, but unfortunately this only enables you to jump up, so it's not really useful for a line of sight. What this area does allow you to do is like challenge the heli. If anyone's sat on heli being really annoying, you can come wide over here, jump up on this box, and challenge them like so. People often when they want to get up castle, they go the long way, but a really easy way to do that is just literally 2 steps, just like so, and it saves you running around all the way to the ladder. Once you've a bit of practice, you can do this quite easily. Once you're up here, though, there's really not much this can benefit you for. Obviously, you do have a nice line of sight over towards the heli. If anyone's on the pallets, or anyone stood on this little side bit of the heli, you've got that. If anyone's trying to flank around this right-hand side, you've got this little area you can take cover from, like so. If there's someone in the window you're trying to kill, you know, there's really, you can sit here and you've got this head glitch, but there's really not much use for this area of the map at all, to be fair. You can jump around here, and when there's someone challenging you over this right hand side here, being able to jump up is quite useful because you can sort of really take this angle to your own, and it's going to be a little bit unexpected when you're on this head glitch looking at anyone behind that barrel. But once you're up here, again, pretty useless. Now, when you're challenging this area here, let's see both these doors are open. A lot of people like to run up the stairs and then challenge like so, if they want to challenge anyone sort of behind the box or sort of watching this doorway. Whereas a better way to do this is to run up this little line of sight here, check anyone's there. You do so, you can jump up here, lay down, and if you back up all the way, you've got a really nice little gap here where you can do so. You've got a nice little head glitch onto anyone who's holding the barrels if you want to hold it from this position, but this is not really useful. And you've got the same thing here, and this is a little bit of a weird one in the fact that you can watch anyone come to the steps from here. It's quite a nice little head glitch. But yeah, obviously you are quite defensive in this position, but again, it's a nice head glitch for anyone who's decided to come up the steps. Once you're actually round here, I really like to see, I like this spot here. So say, for example, you've got a teammate some time, you've already got someone maybe sat back here watching the steps, or you know they can't come to the steps because you've got someone P4 watching the boat cross, and you want to just defend the top. Sit up here and just really watching this is a nice little angle to control your engagements, and you can go straight for right, straight for left to make sure you're hidden or exposed to this right-hand side or the left-hand side, but again, just a really nice angle. You can do a sort of similar thing in this corner to challenge anyone coming from the right. But once you're actually on the hill, when you're actually here on this objective, that people often like to sit behind this box, and while I don't mind that, and jiggling this is probably quite a nice little position, as long as you've got your top covered and you know they're spawning in the back, jiggling this and just knowing whether or not people have got coming through here is quite useful. Another spot, if you're a sub player, where you can sit and capture the objective is here. If you back up all the way to this door, you're covered from top. Your teammates have mostly got your back, hopefully, when you're in this position anyway, but you'll also see a shadow of anyone come around the side here, so you'll be able to pre-fire them really easy. So you've got a sub, you're in this position, you'll see a shadow, you shoot, and as they come around the corner, they're walking into that gunfire. If you see my shadow, as soon as you see the shadow, they'll be about here. As they come around, you've already pre-fired, and they'll be dead, really. So that's a nice spot. You can also capture P2 from here, although, again, this isn't that great. It's a little bit exposed. It's more better if you're trying to watch the cross from left to right. A nice angle for P2 that you can also obtain is jumping up here, up here, up here, and as long as that door's shut, you've got a really nice line of sight of anyone coming up this right hand side here, whether they're spawning back right. You've got, you know, some really nice line of sights to kill anyone off that. If you know that sort of side's covered, you can lay down And this is, again, a real nice angle. People aren't going to expect you to be out looking through this doorway. And then from here, you can jump up to mid quite easily, take on that line of sight. And again, from here, you can jump back. It's a real nice angle. I don't see people use it enough, but it does require teammates to have your right if you're laying down looking left, and have your left, or have that door shut if you're laying down looking right. Whilst we are in this position, in this vicinity, this is a real nice spot. So when, again, P2 is active, or you're trying to capture B on control, and the enemies are spawning obviously in the back, this is a nice little angle to make sure nobody can cross from right to left. You can also sort of try and help out on the hill, although these does leave you a little bit exposed. And if you want to make sure that people can't get out right, you can then just back up, crouch, and use this as a head glitch like so. But this is a real nice angle. So it's better than this, really, and it's definitely better than this. Yeah, this is a nice little angle for you to watch that as well as be able to help at the time. I feel like sometimes what happens is when people are too far over here and they're trying to hold it from this gun, there's not enough support on the hill itself. So sitting here enables you to get shots, maybe look right a little bit, and then help on the hill almost instantly from barely moving. So this is a real nice spot, but you just need to be quite adaptive to where you're looking and where you're focusing your gunfire on. I did use this as an example, but obviously I would never recommend this. If you jump onto this rail, which is just as easy as that, just jumping up, you've got this real nice head glitch to be able to watch the right to left cross, which is really good for P2 if they're spawning back here. And again, yeah, this is a nice little spot just to make sure, and you can really control however much of your body you want them to see, so you can get some shots of anyone running across there. And then if you want to try and watch your back, you can sort of come down to this heady, just as long as you're not on the grass, you're going to be at a really nice elevation. As soon as you get on the grass, you're a little bit low. You want to stand up back a little bit, get on this little ridge, and you've got a really nice head glitch. The nade down there still works. I don't have a frag, but you can throw a nade down there and it'll land in the middle of P4. Maybe good for breaking the bomb site, maybe chance to kill, maybe break the P4 hill itself. A nade down there will still travel, but it does have to be a frag. The Semtex obviously won't work. I'm going to go backwards a little bit here, moving into Grannies. There's really not much to show for Grannies in the fact that you can get a snook, an all-in-one. But all of these little windows are completely wall-bangable. So say, for example, let's say you've got someone on this head glitch, like so, and the way you'd know where the position, say you know they've just shot and they're sort of focusing you, you can just shoot them right through. And if you use the top, you see where it says barracks at the top with the 236 right at the top of my screen. If you use that to line up your shot with a red dot when they're shooting, you're going to be aligned really perfectly. As long as you're not looking too far up or too far down, as long as you're looking relatively straight forward, and you line up that 239, that yellow number at the top, to that red dot, you're going to be able to get a nice little wall bang. And that's the same thing for all of these windows. It works from up here as well. You can even challenge, say someone's in that window and you're trying to challenge them, you can do the same from here. Maybe catch them a little bit off guard. It might get you reported. But yeah, all of these little windows, whether they're on time, whether they're just challenging the window, they do all work. Let me just give you an example. There's no, actually you can see all the shots there anyway. Once you're up here though, there's really not much useful space. So we're going to work our way down to P4. Now in P4, when it's your job to defend this zip line, there's really not much to have. You want to sub really. You can sit behind this desk. You can sit in this corner to make sure you can't get shot from the right, but this desk will work assuming you've got control of this right-hand side. But it's more important that when you're controlling this side that you're moving. You're not just sat in one position. So maybe you take this angle one time, you then slide back to this angle the second, and slide here the third, something like that. And then maybe just slide in like so, just waiting for anyone to peek, maybe for the fourth player. Once you're actually in P4 itself, a real nice head glitch is obviously here, but I wouldn't recommend just sitting here because there is actually quite a lot of your body exposed. Maybe just check every so often where they are, and then beam like that. When you're capturing the objective itself, you can sit here, laying down, looking at the zip. You can do the same looking at the spiral. You can obviously climb on all of these things. So again, maybe useful, maybe not. You can jump up to here, and you can actually just do that from here. And then if you back all the way up, you've got a really nice line of sight to boat and spiral. So say you've got bomb down and you're trying to defend it, you can say, yeah, I've got spiral. You can trust your teammate to get boat, and then maybe one more teammate to watch a zip. But spiral, looking at spiral from here is a really, really, really nice spot. But other than that, it's a pretty basic kill. There's not much to be hidden. When you're defending spiral, obviously sitting in a corner, changing the corner you're in, going under them. And actually you can get away for spiral side to actually go up and sort of meet them halfway. You can sit, let's say this door is open here. You can sit here, wait for them to come and get a knife. You can sit behind the door, get a knife. All many ways you can sort of control P4 from that side. Moving on to this boat sort of area here, there's a nice little head glitch. I see a lot of people come right up to this head glitch to try and challenge here. And whilst that is great, it's fine. If you back up a little bit and stay crouched, it makes this head glitch even better. And it's the same here. And it's the same with any head glitch, actually. If you're too close, you're not going to be able to see much. All you need to do is back up a little bit, and suddenly you can see the perfect spot where you need to. The only problem is if you stand up, you are really exposed. So make sure you are only crouching when you're doing this. Nice line of sight from the boat here. As I said, there's a spot in that corner where people like to sit. From the boat, you can see it just like so. Maybe get some initial bullets, maybe get a free kill from anyone sat there. Really nice spot. And obviously from the boat, you can jump up to the lip. Now, there is so many line of sights in such a useful spot being on this lip. Now, again, let's focus on P2 B side area here. This nice head glitch stops anyone coming from the left. You can then support anyone coming from the top. You can support anyone coming through P4. This is a real nice line of sight where you can just jiggle this, focus in sort of center in this area here. If anyone comes, you can then attack. If anyone comes there, you're obviously already looking there. Again, really nice line of sight. You do the exact same thing here, although this is a little bit more of an offensive maneuver. As long as you've got teammates at the top looking at the top, you can guarantee to the player getting hill time that you're going to be watching this left-hand side. And this is a disgusting head glitch. And you can do it. It actually works both ways as well, of course, if you're trying to stop enemies coming from this right-hand side, or you're trying to get some freebies, or you're trying to spawn trap them in control. Nice line of sight here for anyone coming from that area. And again, all of these line of sights are applicable both sides. And then there's one all the way back here, which enables you to do exactly that. And this is actually my opening route on control. Like, I love to come up here, beam anyone up there, and then from here, you've got a really nice line of sight. Say your team is capturing the time, you can just sit here, rinsing them kills. The only problem is if they're in your spawn already, they're going to come behind you, but we're going to assume that isn't the case. Moving on upwards here, again, there's not too much to show in Trip itself. No, obviously, these are full windows, so they're not wall bangable. I'm just going to move our way into P1. Now, when we're in P1, these areas here, these little safe zones like here and here, are really nice to capture the objective from. You can lay down, you can just trust your team to get over time in this position. Enemies can't see you unless they fully overstretch to the hill itself, or through middle, or they go all the way under and whatever. But this is a real nice spot to capture the time from. And a similar thing here, if you just stay down on time, sat in this corner, you can allow, they have to really overextend to try and see you. Obviously, if they come elbow, they're gonna be able to beam you. But even when you're on this position like so, and you're trying to defend it from the other side, you're in a nice tight position here. You can allow your teammates who are top trip to look over you, and then you can crouch to try and support when you need to. But again, nice little spot there to be able to hide yourself from. When you're on the hill itself, using this, jumping up and using this little slope as a gradual header you can use, works for both sides. When you actually get up here, you are a little bit exposed, but it helps. It depends on what angle you're looking at. If you're looking down there, this is great because you can like sort of give yourself as much exposure as you want. But then when you're looking at elbow, you'd probably prefer to do this. But whilst you're up here, you are mostly hidden from these windows, which is the important thing. Where to now? Oh yeah, we're moving back to this P1 gun thing. Now, a lot of the times when you're coming from this side and enemies somehow manage to get onto the hill, instead of just going all the way around and trying to challenge them without any sort of heady, jumping up on the gun and progressively showing as much body as you want is a really nice way just to maybe get some free damage out. It gives you a better head glitch than they're on. It's a real nice way to make that gunfight what would be a 50-50 from here. You're in a losing battle from here. Just jump up. As long as you're covered from this right of your series, you can guarantee there's no enemies on the right. You can beam someone here. And this is also a really nice area to beam anyone who's on the heli, which we're going to get onto in a second. And obviously from here, you can jump up on the gun, but this isn't really useful. You can just slide straight onto P2. And if you've got a dive activated, that's even easier. Moving around to this back area, when you're maybe spawn trapped back here on control and you're looking to get out, this is a real nice head glitch you can sit on, just making sure that you're getting a freebie here. If someone challenges top trip, you've got that covered, and we're trying to push at the left. Real nice head glitch where, again, you can show as much as yourself as you want. It's a nice little angle you have there. People like to sit back here when you're on SND. I don't mind it. It's just a bit basic. It's the first place anyone's going to check. So I'd probably be a little bit more unpredictable. So a place like this is really nice. As long as you're not wearing a really bright suit, you can sort of see through the trees. You can see if anyone comes to the bomb. You've got a nice little line of sight here as well. You're sort of protected from your left. But yeah, nice little bunch of areas here where you can sort of protect yourself from enemies coming from your left and right, and you know, really just sit and hide. But people don't use that too much. People don't play the life enough on S&D, and that's some ways you can probably do so. As well as when you're elbow, you can stand on this little wall thing and you can challenge anyone in the window from here. It's a nice head glitch to battle anyone there. Nice head glitch to battle anyone who's coming through bottom grannies. Even better, if you want to come up a little bit further, you've got a little bit more of an angle, and you can also see this left-hand side as well. You can jump up on the barrels and crouch to have this line of sight, but again, you're super open, so I prefer to do a little bit more of a defensive tactic when you are trying to look over this barrel. And this is nice going from the P2 to P3 rotation, because a lot of enemies decide to come around P1 area, and this is just a nice way to catch enemies off guard, maybe running through the grannies. Moving into P3 before we move down to the heli. Again, this is a relatively basic kill. There aren't too many nice lines of sights that you can have here, but let's say you're trying to watch the lock push. This is a nice angle because you use the door as like a bit of cover. As long as you've got a teammate watching this door, you've got another teammate maybe sat next to you, making sure you can't get beamed from anyone in this door. Nice little head glitch over the door. Top P3, obviously, if you lay down here, you are completely hidden from anyone top trip. So if you're trying to play your life and you're watching this doorway or whatever, and you've got a nice way to be a little bit of a surprise for anyone coming top. And then once you're down here, there aren't many positions. I've got to be honest. You can sit behind the door. You can sit behind the door this side, maybe on the chair. You can come all the way around to this bin and sit on this head glitch here, which is, again, probably a decent spot. But the main thing you want to do here is just make sure you're jiggling, getting damage out, you know, throwing your nades, throwing your stuns, whatever you need to do to get the objective. Finally, we move ourselves down to the helicopter zone. And here, there's a bomb site, obviously. There you've got P1 there, so that's where we're going to be focusing on from this area. For P1, you can stand on this area and you've got a nice little overview. Anyone's coming from this right hand side, you can take off guard coming from over there. You can do the same from this box as well, although you're a little bit more exposed to your left, whereas here it's a little bit more of a tighter angle. Obviously in the heli, the best angles are from the windows itself, because it gives you sort of instant cover, instant head glitch, but it doesn't give you enough height to sort of battle anyone who's really pushing this right hand side. But it's really good for anyone sat on the headies on P1 itself. Similarly, you can watch, let's say you've got bomb down here, and it's your job to make sure they can't come through P3. As long as you've got a teammate who's watching your right and making sure they can't come elbow or the steps to your right, this little gap here, you can see if anyone comes out of P3, and it's a real nice way to get info of anyone coming around the left. The only thing, obviously, this doesn't have is if anyone comes behind you or all the way around the backhand side there. But again, if you've got bomb down, nice spot. And of course, there is this disgusting spot here where if you lay down in this zone, you're almost invisible. I mean, you're sat here, as long as you're not wearing bright blue, nice spot, maybe for a ninja defuse or something like that. But a nice way just to defend the bomb site from being really, really close. As long as you've got a teammate to trade you out, that's absolutely grand. And yeah, the interesting thing about this area of the map is that you can actually jump on these rocks. Now, whilst this might not be 100% useful, like I said, if you're defending the bomb site, you've got someone who's watching the complete pinch, and maybe this is your job to make sure they can't come down the stairs or elbow. This is a nice way of doing it. They're not really going to be checking here first of all. You'll see if anyone comes down the steps, you'll be able to maybe get the info off, or you'll be able to beam them from here. You'll be able to beam anyone coming elbow, and then in order to get back up, unfortunately, you can't jump back up to there. You've just got to come around this zone here. You can either come up the ladder, use this as a little ladder check. If you press the right stick in, it makes you instantly go down. This is a nice way to maybe just check the bomb site, or from here you can come all the way back round, all the way up here. This is a little bit longer, and then check the bomb site like so. So that's a real nice spot, and also obviously you can jump up to here. Again, this isn't as useful, but maybe you're trying to play a little bit credit, you're making sure that they can't plant the bomb. Not a bad little spot if you're trying to be really, 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 really hidden. As long as I say, you're not wearing bright blue, you're probably going to be fine. And from here, again, you can either come up the ladder, or go around this left-hand side. When you are on the ladder, you can see through this gap, so if you're worried about anyone pinching you, you can quickly see if anyone's coming from that way, like so. But yeah, real nice couple of spots, really situational, but using them right is important. But there's a lot of uses out of these places I've shown you today. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Hopefully you've learned one thing at least, and I will see you in the next one. Ciao for now.